Christ is risen. Welcome to Spiritual Calisthenics. Today, on May 17th, we commemorate the martyrs Andronicus and Junia of the 70. Continuing in the Acts of the Apostles, we have the continuation of the story of the conversion of Cornelius. As we recall from yesterday, Peter was saying to the Lord, I have never taken anything that was unclean and eaten it. This, of course, is an analogy for the Gentiles being brought into the church. In those days, Peter went down to the men sent by Cornelius to him and said, I am the one you are looking for. What is the reason for your coming? They said, Cornelius, a centurion, an upright and God-fearing man, was well spoken of by the whole Jewish nation, was directed by a holy angel to send for you to come to his house and hear what you have to say. So he called them to be his guests. The next day he rose and went off with them, and some of the brethren from Joppa accompanied him. And on the following day they entered Caesarea. Cornelius was expecting them, and called them together his kinsmen and close friends. When Peter entered, Cornelius met him, and fell down at his feet and worshipped him. But Peter lifted up, saying, Stand up! I too am a man. And as he talked with him, he went in and found many persons gathered, and he said to them, You yourselves know how unlawful it is for a Jew to associate with or to visit anyone of another nation. But God has shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean. So when I was sent for, I came without objection. I asked them why you sent for me. So it's important that we see that Cornelius recognized that God has spoken to him, that he's still in that pagan mindset. And so even though he is very well known and he gives alms and he's fantastic, he's still in the pagan understanding. So when Peter came, he saw Peter as a god and not as a man. And so Peter had to show him, no, I'm just a human being. Only Jesus Christ is God. And so Peter now has completely broken with his Jewish tradition now, in that he's coming into the house of a Gentile, and that should be considered defiling. But God has shown him that he is not to call any man common. And so this is the entrance of the Gentiles into the church through Peter. Now this is ironic and very, very apropos, because the very first council that we will get to in Acts later is, again, due to Peter, but this time due to a mistake, in which Peter will be accused of Judaizing, in which basically they were saying that in order to become a Christian, you first had to become a Jew and be circumcised. Whereas St. Paul and the rest of the Orthodox Church said, no, you only need the confession of faith, you need to be baptized. That is the only metric that is necessary. You do not need to first be a Jew first and then become a Christian. And Cornelius said, 4 days ago, about this hour, I was keeping the 9th hour of prayer in my house, and behold, a man stood before me in bright apparel, saying, Cornelius, your prayer has been heard, and your alms have been remembered before God. Send therefore to Joppa and ask for Simon, who is called Peter. He is lodging in the house of Simon the tanner by the seaside. So I sent for you at once, and you have been kind enough to come. Now therefore we are all here present in the sight of God to hear all that you have commanded by the Lord. So Cornelius has set the table for Peter to instruct his family and his friends about Jesus Christ. Continuing with the gospel, at that time Jesus went in Galilee. He would not go about Judea, because the Jews sought to kill him. Now the Jews' feast of tabernacles was at hand. So his brothers said to him, Leave here and go to Judea, that your disciples may see the works you are doing. For no man works in secret if he is to be known openly. If you do these things, show yourself to the world. For even his brothers did not believe in him. Jesus said to them, My time has not yet come, but your time is always here. Now, his brothers is not his physical brothers. He doesn't have physical brothers. These are his cousins that would have been children from Joseph's previous marriage, showing that they don't understand yet. This would have included Jacobus, Judas, whose works are in the Bible. The book of James and the book of Jude are from his siblings, but they are not his blood siblings through Mary. My time has not yet come, but your time is always here. The world cannot hate you because it hates me, because I testify of it, that its works are evil. Go to the feast yourselves. I am not going up to this feast, for my time has not yet fully come. So saying this, he remained in Galilee. I love this. I'm not going to the feast. But then he goes to the feast. But after his brothers had gone up to the feast, then he also went up, not publicly, but in private. The Jews were looking for him at the feast and saying, Where is he? And there was much muttering about him among the people. Well, some said, He is a good man. Others said, No, he is leading the people astray. Yet for fear of the Jews, No one spoke openly of him. So it's very, very interesting that Jesus Christ is the talk of the feast, but everyone's doing it in hushed tones because no one wants to be get in trouble with the local government. I hope that you've enjoyed today's spiritual calisthenics. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Christos Anesti.